Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Anson Wells, it is the Ermanni Maz show, but it is Wednesday, so your boy Anson is in the house. Anson, your Pistons got another win.
Oh, man.
We'll dive into that, and I want to get you excited. Tom Mazaway is in the building.
Oh, man, I watched the last 2 minutes of that game. It was awesome.
Got to watch more, man. They're giving you a reason to watch more with that. KGP, Spivak, how you guys doing?
Hey, good, man. Shout out to the Motor City Crews. Got to get my first venture in the beat writing a little bit yesterday, man. So.
Hey, and shout out to Braylon's shoes. Can we see those of his?
You want to take it back? Today was like an old school day.
Can he get his leg that high at this point?
Oh, look at those.
The 830s came out.
Certainly the right.
Yeah, I was born, so.
They're the right colors. I know that.
And speaking of
They're
green,
right Jets colors.
Can you pump those up?
No, this was before the pump. So I think Reebok saw this technology and said,
Man, my old man's got a pair of the original pumps.
The original
pumps.
When the original pumps came out, it was, man, the black ones with the orange ball. Like, it was just
the black ones
were
Did the pumps ever work? Did it really give you more air?
No,
I
it
think
just
so.
made them more
You think
comfort.
so?
It's a placebo, right?
Yeah.
It's a placebo.
It wasn't on the bottom. It was for form fitting. It made it nice.
squeeze your ankle. Yeah,
It's kind of like having going no ankle brace, then ankle brace. It gave you a little more ankle support, let you be a little stiffer.
They sure sold it like you were jumping on air, though.
You believe the commercial? It worked.
Yeah.
It definitely worked. Well, look, maybe the boys are wearing.
How about the
Reebok
Starberries?
pumps.
You got any Starberries?
Oh, the Starberries.
From Stephen Barry's.
Starberries is more like a cultural
Stephen Barry's.
It's the second time you brought them up. I
It was
love
a
it.
cultural thing. Like, I appreciate it, but it wasn't for me.
Now,
They
Ben
were selling them
Wallace
at
did
Kmart.
his
We wasn't
shoes through
doing
them
that.
too, right?
The
What
same
happened?
company that Al Harrington used for his shoes, the pageants or the P's or whatever they were
Don't you
called.
remember
Ben
that?
Wallace did the same too.
Yeah.
He went
They
through them
make-
as well. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was-
of
You
them.
remember that store, Stephen Barry's?
Oh yeah.
100%.
All the
Great Lakes
college
Crossing.
stuff.
Oh,
You know what
They
wrecked
had
it?
the big one.
Then they
Pause.
signed Sarah Jessica Parker. She put her stuff in there, and that was the end of it.
Why the long face,
Yeah,
Sarah?
they
I
took
don't-
over.
I always thought she was attractive. I know
SJP,
people call her a horse
she
face.
is
She
not
made a lot of
all
money
that
with
hurt.
Sex and the
I dig
City,
it.
I tell you
Why
that.
the long
Yeah.
face?
It's not all
I love that show.
And on to the next topic.
Yeah, and that topic is the Detroit Pistons. Let's not waste any time.
We can talk about The Wire if we're
Finally
talking about
about
HBO.
the Pistons. Finally talking about the Pistons in the first, 2-3 minutes of the show?
Oh man, we're in the playoffs.
First time all year.
We are a playoff team right now.
We won the first game.
Going to Vegas.
Of our grouping.
That's right.
Good win by the Pistons. KG, Anson, I start with you. What did you see watching these Pistons game? How do they look now compared to last season and years before?
I mean, in the first month, it's a little unfair to kind of judge Monty's team because they actually were kind of playing.
No, they sucked.
Well, they weren't good, but they were kind of playing. What we've seen from day one, game one of this team is an all-out effort all the time. In the first week or two, though, you kind of saw this team hit the wall in the end of the third or early fourth. Anytime they basically took Cade off in a close game, this team faltered. They didn't really know who their identity was beyond just putting out maximum effort. Now we're starting to see them execute. Now we're starting to see Jaden Ivey hit shots. Now we're starting to see Cade take games over. And now we're starting to see Bickerstaff, his play calling, actually win games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you speak of Bickerstaff. I ran into one of his staff members, like I said last week, and that was
Jared Jack.
Jared Jack, and he was telling me about this
Georgia
team.
Tech, baby.
100%. He was telling me, you know why he went to Georgia Tech? He said he went to Georgia Tech. I asked him.
Bobby Cremins.
100%. He went for Bobby Cremins, the coach. But I asked him, why'd you go to Georgia Tech out of the other schools? North Carolina didn't recruit him, and neither did Duke.
Whoops.
So he wanted to go. He got Michigan State is where he was gonna come. He was gonna come to Aspires. Michigan State is a school that he wanted to go to. Michigan was next, but they were on probation. So then, since Duke and Duke and North Carolina didn't recruit him, he went somewhere where he could face those guys, and he faced them twice a year down there. So that's why he went there.
He wanted to end up in Michigan, clearly.
He did. He loved Michigan. They were on probation. He said he loved Tom Izzo. He loved Michigan State. So
What's not to love about Izzo?
How about that final play they draw up? I mean, how did they catch the Heat with their shorts down? I mean, they really did.
The delayed double screen.
Yeah.
And the back screen for Duran to go to the hoop. I mean, this guy's just so athletic. They should be using him more at the rim.
Yeah.
This guy should be getting 5 dunks a game.
That's a fact.
Yeah, 100%. And talking about the Pistons, you got to talk about Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is going to be a part of a Cap or No Cap Wednesday. We got something coming for you a little bit later. He'll be a part of that. But Cade Cunningham is truly becoming one of the elite. Cade Cunningham is the sixth player in NBA history to record at least 3,000 points, 900 assists, 150 steals in 150 games or fewer, joining. Take a look at this.
How about four of them being Pistons?
LeBron, Luka, A.I. Grant, Isaiah Thomas. You right about that.
And three of them doing it as rookies here. That's impressive to me.
But it talks about who this guy is. They drafted the right guy. Anson, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, man.
He looks like a grown man now.
He does.
Yeah.
And he gets it at every end. He's good on offense, defense, both sides of the court. And then also he's starting to really learn how to get people involved, how to be able to spare himself some time so he can finish these games.
And the turnovers still need to be trimmed a little bit,
Clearly.
but he's locking that up. Beyond the play, because we've talked about this, I mentioned it, and there was a few pundits talking about how his statistics last year matched up with the bottom three of the All-Star game. This is a guy that if we had won some games, he'd be on the All-Star team. Beyond all of the play, beyond the efficiency improvements that I've seen from him, he's playing like he's from Detroit out there. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, KG.
Yeah.
He's bodying people. He's staring them down. And this is a big guy that can play three positions, who can defend three positions, and he can do it with strength and anger. Like, at this point, what I've seen out of him, that chip that he's playing with, he's starting to kind of strike fear in his opponent. Whoever's squaring up with him right now, I wouldn't want to defend Cade.
It's funny, like you said it, like some of my friends said when he first got here, he played like he was light skinned.
He played like from Oklahoma.
So that's why I'm saying it's funny you say that, because now you see that grit. Like, he's definitely playing some ball. He doesn't care. He's mixing it up, and he's developing himself to get that and garner that respect that he's getting. No Jimmy Butler yesterday for the Heat, but they still had Bam Adebayo, who's one of the best players in the NBA, and they still had shooters. And they're able to get the win. They got to win in overtime. Winning in overtime is key because it means you understand how to win at the
Tyler
end.
Hero, 40.
Well, 100. That's why I said it didn't matter.
One off his career high.
He won't have that when Asar's in the lineup. I'll tell you that right
won't have that
now.
until
We're
Thompson back.
about to get our best perimeter defender back in. And this guy really did look good towards the end of the year. He kind of adjusted his shot. And I think just from a morale point for the Detroit Pistons, a team that drafted this guy as high as we did last year, watched him play himself onto the all-rookie team through the first month, and then just taken out of our rotation completely. Not only did you not see him, but you know what it does to a young man's head, and all of his teammates knew. So
That was Monty.
Hey, look.
and of course,
Same thing he did with Ivy.
No doubt about it. But then Ivy's had a chance in the offseason during this year to re-up himself and to show us who he is. Asar hasn't had that. He's well liked on this team. It's going to be more than just adding a player to the defense. It's going to be a morale boost to this team that's already playing near 500 ball. They're one box out from being 6-6.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Look, and I was gonna ask this during Cap or No Cap. Fine, I can spoil it now and still bring it back. Let's talk crazy, if we will. Let's talk playoffs.
Please.
Let's talk crazy. Let's talk playoffs. Eastern Conference, it's not a good conference. Especially right now. Maybe it changes once you hit the All-Star break, but as of right now, the Eastern Conference is a very winnable conference.
Yeah.
If you're anybody but 1-2 teams, there's two teams in this conference.
That's right.
It's Cleveland Cavaliers and it's the Boston Celtics. Outside of that, it's up for grabs, I would say. If you look at the Pistons, 6 wins already. They didn't get 6 wins till February last year.
Should have 8.
But they have 6. But to your point, they could have had 8. Seems like they're responding to Big Stab. If he's getting them to respond in November, are the playoffs a realistic thing in this current Eastern Conference?
There are 5 teams in the Eastern Conference that you can look at and say, this is a playoff team. Obviously, the 2 up on top, undefeated Cavaliers, as well as the defending champion Celtics. Magic are a good team.
Damn good team.
Pacers are a damn good team.
Yeah.
And, Maz, your New York Knicks will be in the playoffs.
All right. Bucks.
I don't like that trade. The Bucks are struggling.
Falling, bro.
They are struggling. They are
not
hurt.
the same.
And Dame, as good as he looks, he just is a little bit
Giannis
older.
took a shot at Dame.
They don't like each other.
I
swear I've been saying
Giannis
that for
took a shot
weeks
at
now.
Dame
They do not like each
ago,
other.
and it wasn't like a It was like, hey, if you don't want to be here, you can go.
Yeah.
What do you think won that championship for them? Beyond Giannis.
Who they were playing against?
It was
It was
their
Drew Holiday,
cohesion.
really.
Yeah.
It was, well, Drew Holiday too is a
Holiday.
great
Drew
point.
Holiday.
But they had all guys playing well together. Milwaukee looks completely lost. I'm not excited about the Nets. The Hawks showed us who they are. We can beat them.
Yeah.
The Heat are probably a playoff team.
Yes.
That's probably a team that's up.
they are.
But listen,
Jimmy Butler coming
6,
back.
7, 8, and 9
Yeah.
are absolutely available to the
Yes.
Detroit Pistons this year.
It's funny you talk about the Atlanta Hawks, home of Trae Young, one of the best point guards in the NBA, whatever you say. Cade Cunningham is going to be very similar, but the difference is people are going to like him. Like if the Pistons were a tweener team to make the playoffs or they weren't necessarily a playoff team, based on how Cade is as a player, the respect and how he plays, he will still make the All-Star team. Trae Young has deserved to be an All-Star for the last 4 years, but they do not like Trae Young.
They don't.
They don't like his selfishness. They don't like how he plays, how he conducts his business.
They don't like his hair.
They don't like his hair, so that's why they kind of keep him off.
His
If
hair
you
is
ever
frozen.
notice, Cade, it wouldn't be that
tough.
way.
Yeah.
It's rough
Definitely
and
wouldn't
tough.
be that way.
Going
but
back to the Bucks, I mean, Doc Rivers
he just
is the magic stick in there. They haven't won since he's come over there.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I like Doc Rivers. I think he's probably a better broadcaster than he is a coach at this point.
He was a Clipper. So once you go there, it's
That's
over,
it.
basically.
Well, he was a Clipper before he won as a Boston Celtics head coach. So
Was it?
He was. He was
Yeah.
a Clipper.
He played
was
as a Clipper.
player.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought maybe it was a little. No, you're
Nah,
right.
he
You're
played
right.
Played
You're
as
right.
a Clipper.
I've never been a Doc guy. That goal takes me back to hating the '87 Hawks, man. I mean, I like me some Spud Webb, but
Yeah.
still happy that Zeke hit that.
He
runner.
assembled that Lob City team. They just couldn't get nothing done.
Nope.
What'd you guys think of that blue court?
Did not like it.
It burned my eyes. You know what I
Did
liked
not
about
like
it? I liked the subtleties of the underneath Piston logos.
Yeah.
I liked all the Detroit logos underneath it. But the blue, it burned my eyes. It literally did.
I'm in the
I
minority.
think I'm
I
the
like
only
it.
older cat that loves the weird looking
Yeah.
courts.
It's
I
better
love
than
it all.
staring at
Like, give me the
hardwood all
red
the time.
field
Give
in
us something
football,
different.
all of it.
I love the Celtics
I don't
one.
mind. I don't mind if it looks good. I didn't necessarily look
Right.
at it like when we see was the Oregon's basketball team. I like their court.
Yeah.
I've always liked Boise State. Like I like certain things. Speaking of courts, the Bucks, you can see why they're losing as a franchise. Did you see what's in the middle of their court right now?
No.
They got the championship trophy. Like they have their championship ring, their
Let it
championship
go.
trophy. It's like
That's a few years ago.
You're right. Let it go.
exactly. It's like
No, that's the NBA Cup. Every team,
every team
every
had that?
court has
Oh,
the
okay.
NBA
Oh, I
Cup.
thought you
I
meant
was
they
about
really
to
had
say,
their ring.
That's
on
the
there. I'm
NBA
like, man,
Cup.
it's-
okay.
That was
But
post-COVID.
the Celtics green, and they had the parquet in the green. That looked real good, and that did not hurt my eyes at all.
Pete,
the Celtics.
I got one for Pete here. Like, nobody was betting on the Pistons to win their division. Nobody was, well, they're not divisions anymore. Nobody was betting on the Pistons to win the East, get to the finals and win that. But I'll tell you what, putting some money on these boys to shock the world and win this little mini tournament.
You know what's funny? It must be something about that seat. Because yesterday, Ryan Ermanni said the exact
Did he?
same
Did he
thing.
put
And do you
his
know what
money
the
where his
odds
mouth
were?
was, though?
He asked
And
Pete,
do
he
you
said,
know what the
what were
odds
the
were?
odds? The odds
Plus
was
900.
Plus
900.
Plus 900. Did you
That
put
was
some money on them?
that was yesterday.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
That
now
was
it's probably
yesterday.
plus 300, plus 400.
No,
but
no, it'll still be up there.
I'm going to check right now.
One
as you guys
win
discuss.
helps a
Probably
lot.
plus 6.
Probably
I'll say
I'll
it's
say
plus
plus
6.
I'm going to have
700.
the Caesar
Plus
Sports
seven.
account right now.
Plus
Check.
550.
All right, while you guys are doing that, did you guys get a chance to check a welcome home yesterday? And that was Klay Thompson. The Mavericks went back to Chase
didn't.
Arena and played against Steph and the Golden State Warriors. And Steph let him know, like, this is still my spot. 37 points, 9 assists,
And the
6
dagger.
rebounds, and the dagger. The sleepy time, as he likes to do at the end of the game. Maz, you say you saw a little bit of this game as well. What are your thoughts on your favorite player of all time, Steph Curry?
He ain't slowing down, man. And you know what? Steve Kerr said at the beginning of the year, this is the deepest team he's had in a long time. I didn't believe him, but it's starting to look like they can still play.
Yeah.
They can still play. I thought they were done and buried, and they might be. But to watch that guy, to me, that's
9-2.
so much fun to watch Steph Curry play
Or
ball.
10-2 now.
He's just, he's so good. I so thoroughly enjoy what he does. And I was happy for Klay. Klay got 20 some odd points, and he'll do well with the Mavericks. Mavericks and them in the playoffs would be a hell of a fun series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a nice 7-game series that I'd pay to see that one.
Yeah. Clay said he had hard feelings about that game.
Yeah, Klay didn't seem like he was overly reminiscent. He was overly
Yeah.
like happy and
He took it
heartfelt to be
personal.
there. Yeah. Because they interviewed him, they talked about the moments and things. He was like, it'd be good to see a couple. This is before the game. He said, it'd be good to go back and see a couple people, but it's just another game to me. I was like, oh
Yeah.
They did a heartfelt tribute and everything. He still does not like the way in which it went at the end.
Yeah.
He felt like he was, which he was one of the pillars that helped them build those 4 championship rings and bring them back to the most popular and the most paid franchise across the 4 majors in the past 15 years or so.
And let's be
real. And
real
they feel like they ushered him out the door and kept Draymond Green.
Yeah, that's my point. Let's be real about
So
it. The
you
fact
kept
that
Dray-
Draymond wasn't the first one out
Draymond
the
didn't
door.
go 0 for 10 in his last game as a dub.
It don't matter.
Clay ain't out here choking people and socking teammates.
Right.
I want that.
And listen,
I
Clay-
want that, man.
Clay
they
had
don't-
a reason for his downfall.
If you
Right.
swap out Draymond with another
Right.
efficient shooter, they're not winning anything. All right, we won because we had Dennis Rodman and Rick Mahorn. You go through all of these different teams; they had somebody that mixed it
I'm
up.
not arguing about any of that in terms
all right, don't
of...
be slandering my Spartan.
Nah,
huh?
I'm not slandering your Spartan, but I'm saying at this juncture.
Listen, Buddy Hield is better on this team than Clay was
Agreed.
last year. Buddy Hield needs to get more time. And what Clay wanted to sign to stay home, listen, if you're declining the way that he has been, if you play as badly as you did last year and you want to stay at home, put out a nice contract for them to keep you. And he didn't want that. So I get why he's upset. But, hey, you're not a dub anymore.
I be loving it from y'all side, like the fan side. So interesting, or the pundit side. Like, put yourself in Clay's shoes. How would you feel if you were Clay? Would you have like, all right, you know what? Let me. I'll take less. I'll take less to stay here because it makes sense because I was trash. Or would you like, nah? Like, I hope y'all built this. Like,
As I improve, I would take less to stay here at Woodward Sports. Sleep on that.
say less.
I have an update
Loyalty,
for you.
baby. Let's go.
I have an update for you real
And you
quick,
have an
guys.
update the odds, Pete?
I do, Bray. And you know what? Hey, Bray, you know how you said there's something about that chair?
Something about
what
that
did
chair?
you? What did you say the odds were?
550.
No, you did not say that.
Oh, no, I said 300.
That's correct. Well, guess
Hey!
we get there 350 plus 350 right now
Boy,
is what they
nice.
fell to.
To win the whole thing?
To win their group. To win their group, Mess. They went from plus
You gotta win
900
4
yesterday.
games
Now
to
they're
win your
plus
group.
350.
Now, is there odds to win the whole damn thing?
Yes. Hang on. Let me get the odds to win the whole damn thing.
Tom
Here
Berenger
you go.
style?
Plus 2,500.
To win the whole thing for the Pistons specifically, oh boy,
Plus
oh
5,000.
boy, oh boy, plus
There you
10,000.
go.
Put a dollar on it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm putting a dollar
Yeah,
on it.
all right.
And
There
you
you
know,
go.
last night before the game, it was probably 2,500.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
There you go,
You gonna put $1 on it, man?
I
throwing-
am. A dollar?
guys. I'm throwing
Spirit.
10
Why don't they go
bucks
buy
on
a,
it right now.
why don't they go buy a
10
pack of
cents?
gum?
10 bucks.
10 cents?
You
I'll
can't
go buy a
tell
pack
me
of
for
gum.
$1, man.
Well, you may not put $1 on this, but you put $1 million on this. One thing the Detroit Lions fans do is they travel with the best of them. They have taken over everywhere they've been on the road this year. 5-0 on the road. Here's Dan Campbell talking a little bit about these Lions fans on the road.
Man, our fans are unbelievable the way they're traveling right now. And I heard them in the fourth, and I try not to pay attention to any of that, but it was noticeable with their offense out there. And the false start was critical that was forced. So can't say enough good things about our guys, our fans. So
Back to talking about these Detroit Lions who are now 8-1 tops in the NFC. They're just so good on the road, but they're rewarded because of the traveling of their fan base, watching what their fan base does, seeing all that blue on TV. It makes me jealous that I didn't play for the Lions at this point, but it just makes you feel good as a fan to see that your city takes over for your team, and they hear those fans in the crowd.
I think my favorite weekly thing on Twitter is to see the Lions takeover of another stadium. Texas, I don't know if you saw, but on the entire concourse, Detroit is doing the hustle. Did you see that video?
We
Yes,
did.
yeah.
Unbelievable, man. And it's literally, you go back 2 years now. And we've had a mass exodus for 30 plus years here in Detroit. So we got people in every major city, in every major market. And they don't leave this team. It doesn't matter if we go in 0-16. Lions fans are Lions fans for life. And so now that we finally got something, whether you're living here and traveling, or whether you've been in Arizona for the last 10 years or wherever, you're going, you're showing.
It's a destination now.
It is, and,
Where the
and
Lions
it's
are
and it's
playing.
such a point of pride for Detroiters. I think that hey, I've been in Arizona for 10 years. I am showing up in my Honolulu blue. I'm going to be loud, and I got 5 of my buddies that live in Scottsdale, and they're coming too. Let's take the whole NFL over.
Well,
Lions
you
fans.
know the best fans in only NFL. Well, it's easy when you root for a winner since 1972. It's the Steelers. The Steelers fans take over everywhere they go. The Lion fans are catching up to them. I would put the Lion fans as the second best traveling fans in the NFL behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again, they've been winning since 1972.
You know what I think that started, correct me if I'm wrong, I swear I believe like this particular fandom started for the Detroit Lions in the road games. When they beat Green Bay the last game of the season, when they knew it was nothing on the line because Seattle had already beaten the Rams earlier in the day. Remember, the Lions fans stayed that game. They stayed in Green Bay. The season was over. Green Bay's fans were gone, but the Lions fans were there, and I think that's kind of where it started. Also, man, think about it like this. It's easier now to want to travel to a Lions game, and I'm not taking anything away from the team, but because they're so good, what away games are they getting? They're getting the good ones. What time slots are they getting? They're getting the good ones. Yep. They're getting Kevin Kugler. They're getting the people that call those games. So if I'm traveling, if I'm living in another place, I'm like, I can go to this game because this is prime time. Another thing we used to love about being players is going to certain places because you knew stars were going to be there. If you stars on the field before the game started, if you stars in the audience, you would see the scoreboard would flash into somebody's suite. Like whenever you played in New York or you play in Dallas, you know the stars are going to be there. Detroit is now one of those teams, whenever they're there, you're going to see stars. And it ain't just always going to be Eminem and Stevie Wonder.
Like Jamie Lannister in L.A. Just guys see that clip?
I saw that.
That's great. You know, Maz, I got to say, I think we've trumped the Steelers. If Pennsylvania did not have the Eagles, the entire state would travel. But there hasn't been a huge reason to leave either of those cities the way that there has been to leave Detroit for 30-plus years. This is the only team in the state. This is the only team in the state. We are not a state divided unless we're talking about college football. And we have been so starving for the. I'm sorry, I can't put any fan base ahead of our own.
It might be something to that because I was legitimately going to side with Mass because I've seen it. I've seen the Steelers take over whatever city I've been in. The Steelers have taken over. They know how to travel. Their fans know how to travel. But you may be onto something in terms that the Lions haven't had this. And now you're talking about a whole state traveling.
Imagine after 5 years and 2 Super Bowls, how Lions fans will travel.
Listen to the schedule going forward.
Let's go.
The Jags are this week. It's a 1 o'clock game. Well, the Colts, that's a 1 o'clock game. What I'm saying is the Lions are going to get flexed a couple more times here. You got the Thursday, of course, Thanksgiving Day game, which is national. Yeah. Then they come back with the next Thursday, a night game against Green Bay. So back-to-back games at Ford Field at night. The Bills on CBS at 4:30. That's their top game. That can't be moved. That's Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. The game that could be moved, if the Bears decide to start winning again, December 22nd. It's a 1 o'clock game outdoors against Chicago. I'm not sure what the night game is that week, and we can probably check it. That's week 16. That game can move. The following week, you play Monday Night Football against the 49ers. Yeah. And then you home against the Vikings. That game is the TBD. So that game could be a night game as well. So they could be flexed a couple more times because people want to see this team. They don't want to see the Cowboys anymore. They definitely don't want to see the Jets.
No Cowboys, no Jets.
They don't want to see any of that crap anymore. Yeah, this Lion team is prime time team now.
So basically, 4 or 5 games at one? That's it, all season. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we used to own the 1 o'clock time slot, and we used to have like Dick Stockton and Kenny Albert doing our games.
Yeah, part of the reason why we don't own those 1 o'clock time slots anymore is because this offense led by Ben Johnson. Here's Dan Orlovsky breaking down the offense, which is the reason why everybody wants the Lions in the prime time spots.
Thought this was a pretty awesome stretch by Ben Johnson the other night against Houston. So it's third quarter. They're going to run the football on first down, but a couple of things. You're down 10. Start of the fourth quarter, okay? So you get into your 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end, and get into that bunch up top. Single receiver, bottom of the numbers split, okay? You motion Amon-Ra over, ball gets snapped, here comes run action, okay? Here comes run action. Houston's pretty downhill at it. Houston always is downhill at the run. Great. Okay, you go to the very next play, okay? You're trying to get this into a 1-score game. Get into that same action. Bunch up top. This time you're just going to switch the people, all right? Same cut split by J-Mo, and then ball gets snapped. Here comes play action right there, and you get J-Mo. You just get these backers to step up and over. Just a moment. You get J-Mo speed vertical, sit down, right in that vacant space, right? So like the speed fear drives that safety just back a little bit, and you have these guys hung. Remember, that's why play action matters so much. Look where they start. They start on the 45. Jared gets to the top of his drop. They're still essentially on the 45, maybe the 44-yard line. So now you have that distribution between the third and second level. Bang, ball comes out, rip. Great catch by Jameson Williams in a tough contested environment, okay? Now we go to the very next play, okay? There's that same look. Remember, last time they motioned across the field. This time they just motion out. Here comes that same action, play action, all right? And now this is a fantastic job. Like, this is why you do this play action stuff, right? Look at that defender is turning and running with him. That defender pays attention to that play fake, turn and run. You've got all these people left over here. A phenomenal job by the offensive line, just having vision, and you dump off this little play action screen. I've got 3, 1, 2, 3 versus 1 on your defense. Lights out. Lights out. So we go run action, we hit J-Mo, we go run action screen, you hit David Montgomery, and then now you get into the very next play. Where's that? You get into that bunch, essentially, with 2 tight ends now. Here goes that cut split. This time it's -4 from the top of the numbers. You get a little play action. Watch this. Watch what it does to 1, 2, 3. Okay, this play action this way. Okay, look at everyone squeeze, 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 squeeze. And now again, my offensive line, step down and get out. Look at our numbers. I have 1, 2, 3, really 4 versus 1, 2, 3 at the most. Slip screen, outstanding job by the receiver. Penei Sewell cleans up. Phenomenal job by that right tackle, that right guard. Body on a body. Really well operated by Ben Johnson and the Lions.
Really well operated. The thing about that, it was so crazy. That was 3 plays in a row. That was 3 plays in a row. When the Lions get cooking like that, because they're so well at the run, because he's so well at the pass, because the offensive line gives time, or when they choose to, it seemed like in the second half, they started picking up the blitz a little bit more. It seemed like they gave Jared more time, especially in that second half of the third. But this is how fluid the offense has been all year. This is why it's the best offense in the NFL. You see how easy it was, and everybody is a part of it. The speed of Jameson Williams, it drives the safeties back. Now it creates that spacing. Spacing is the biggest thing in sports. It's the biggest thing in sports, spacing. You need spacing in hockey, you need spacing in football, you need spacing in baseball. Spacing allowed Jameson Williams to do that. Now you're worried about the speed. Now you have Amon-Ra St. Brown after the David Montgomery screen. He's doing a lot with a lot.
You see what they did in the upper right corner. You see Lassiter of the Texans get crushed by his own player because Penei Sewell was in his way. He did not want to run into Penei Sewell. No. He ran into his own player, and he wound up missing the rest of that game. The Lion offensive line, let's face it, man, they're it. They are the driving force of this team. This is an all-star team. Yeah. It truly is. But that offensive line is the real reason. And guess what? They didn't have Taylor Decker last week. They might not have him this week. Might as well give him off. Playing the Jags, just go out and do your thing and take care of business.
I wouldn't mind if they gave him a couple of days off. He was looking. He looked hurt, and when he was looking hurt, he was giving us some sacks. But you talked about it. Penei Sewell is the guy for the best offensive line in the NFL. Here's Baldy, the guy that we like a lot, breaking down Penei Sewell in this past game.
It wasn't the best start for the Lions or Penei Sewell in this game. But right here before the half, bam, Penei, just sit on your victim right there. All right, Goff gets out. He's able to throw a Hail Mary. All right, now it gets intercepted. But you watch some of these moves right here. Like, watch this swat. Swat. Now get out. Get out and lead. Just looking for red jerseys. Like anybody in a red jersey, just push them. Just knock them. Like Gibbs just cutting right off him. 33 yards down the field. Like you could have given Sewell the ball. You watch this right here. Like this touchdown by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like nobody's going to survive that right there. Like he's got 2 right now in his periscope, and Amon-Ra St. Brown cuts in, and the Lions make a comeback. It was really pretty phenomenal what they did in the second half of that game.
Penei Sewell made that player disappear. I didn't even see that safety.
He swallowed
on that
him
play.
up.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it. I'll let you do it. But he definitely did on that play. Penei Sewell, man, to be able to move at that size, to be able to be that agile. You see the play right there, the Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has to fake down and then spin around to come out. Drafted Penei Sewell, ladies and gentlemen. Maz, we were the ones. We were the ones talking about Micah Parsons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were the ones on that.
I take full blame on that one.
I think we're past the point. I think
Way
Penei Sewell
past
is
it.
definitely a better choice
Way past it.
than Micah Parsons, even though he's still an elite player. Just watching Baldy break it down, man. Like Penei Sewell is one of one on this defense, on this offensive Detroit line.
The havoc that this offensive line wreaks on other teams is not just contained to pass protection and some run. These guys, as we just saw, are all over the field and sometimes 30 yards down the field ready to end your day.
Yeah.
And to be able to try and beat a line like that, to get sacks, to be able to try and beat a line like that to stop the run, those are two things everybody schemes for every week. But what the Lions do beyond those two facets, downfield, on pulling screens and stuff like that, I would not be able to sleep as a defensive coordinator if I knew I was facing the Lions that week.
Oh,
Yeah,
it really is. It's an honor to root for this team.
Yes,
It
I
is.
mean, it is so fun.
Some more breakdowns by Baldy. He broke down the receivers for the Detroit Lions and how they're so dangerous with this offense of Ben Johnson. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll get back to you. First, let's get a message from Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. With over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, it's the gym for you because it's the gym for everybody. The biggest thing we got to harp on now, it's fitness that fits into your budget, so you'll be perfectly fine. Whatever you have, you come on in. We'll get you this membership, and each membership comes with a trainer, so you'll be good to go. No judgment and squeaky clean. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
And after a good workout, you know you need that nice shot of tequila, man. On the rocks, man. We got you. 1800 Tequila, the official tequila, Woodward Sports Lions watch parties and post-game show. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every single Lions weekend live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township and celebrate all the wins with smooth 1800 Tequila. Might be around 15 or 16 shots or so. Proud sponsor of your Detroit Lions, 1800 Tequila, the best taste in tequila. And please, y'all, drink responsibly.
It's the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame watch party. Every Lions home game live from Second Best Bar, Detroit. Enjoy the pregame hype with a live broadcast every week with Woodward Sports personalities like Neil Rule, Sean Belegian, and the Heavyweights. Brought to you in part by Sabbath Coffee and Les Stanford Automotive. Great drinks like Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Long Drink, great environment, and even better food. It's the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame watch party live from Second Best Bar, Detroit. Brought to you in part by Sabbath Coffee Roasters and Les Stanford Automotive. Come get some.
You're an ugly guy. That's okay, because you have a hot girl on your arm. Now Woodward Sports and Les Stanford want to reward you for outkicking your coverage.
I am ugly as by traditional standards.
That's right. If your significant other's hotter than you can win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Detroit. So find the best pic of her with the average-looking you and post it on X or Instagram.
You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. You ugly.
Make sure you tag at Woodward Sports and follow us to enter. We'll announce the winner November 25th. Then you and your much better-looking lady will get tickets to watch Dan Campbell and the Kneecappers.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
Inside a Ford Field on Thanksgiving. So find the best pic of her and the worst pic of you. And show us all how you outkicked your coverage.
Your mama said you ugly. Hey.
From Woodward Sports and Les Stanford.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
In any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
Attention, sports fans. Oh, that's Dr. Pierce. I'm talking about Mark White. Attention, sports fans. Mark White is the man. Dreaming of a new home, but feeling a financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. I said $5,000 right off the top. That's a lot of cheddar, guys. Give Mark White and his team a call today, 248-290-8242. Try him online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White and his team, Mark White and Associates, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
For only $20. That's right. At Lady Jane's, for only $20, you can walk in anytime, 7 days a week, and that gets you their haircut special, which includes a scalp massage, a hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment from one of their amazingly talented stylists. Just scan that QR code you see up in the corner and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men. Once again, they are open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome, because Lady Jane's Haircut for Men is wicked awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You know what else is wicked awesome is Jake Bates of the Detroit Lions. Starting his NFL career, 14 of 14, 32 of 33 extra points, and he is your NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Deservingly so. Deservingly so. Here. To the leg, a.k.a. Maz, I'll let you start this one because you've been asking for a kicker in the Detroit Lions for the last 4 years. Well, Maz, seems like you've got your guy.
From bricks to kicks. That's right. That's what the Lions are saying, man. Jake Bates, he kicked at Ford Field. Yesterday we talked to Dave Burkett, and he said one of the reasons that Jake signed here with the Lions, and he had about 5 teams after him, including the Packers and Washington. 2 teams that you don't want a good kicker to go to, although Washington got Seibert, and Green Bay still looking for a kicker. Just didn't work out for him. But he kicked for the Michigan Panthers at Ford Field for the USFL and then the UFL. And he was kicking from 65, 62, everything. He was making it with no one who was in the stands, maybe 100 people, 200 people in the stands. Now he's kicking in front of 65,000 people. So one of the reasons that he signed with the Lions, and they gave him, I think, $100,000 or $150,000 to come and try out, and then Michael Badgley got hurt. Basically, the job's yours, Jake, if you can make those short kicks. We know you can make the long ones.
Yeah.
Can you make the short ones? It was a little shaky in the preseason. Matter of fact, last game, I think they had another kicker in, kicking against him. But he won that battle, and now he has won a spot on this team, and he's going to get himself a nice contract at the end of this year if it keeps going in this direction, fellas.
It's crazy when you just watch this Detroit Lions team. Like, I can just see myself, what am I, 41 now? I can see myself at 51, 55, looking back like, man, I remember that Detroit Lions team from, 2024, because it's stories. There are stories.
We got Dan on.
Oh, we got Dan on.
Dan Miller
he
can do it now.
Jumped on.
He can get out of that interview.
Let's not waste any time.
Let's get on.
The man, the myth, the legend, and Dan Miller, Fox 2. Where you at, brother?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Thanks for slipping in.
I'm in Allen Park. You guys just talking about Jake Bates. I just got done with him. So hit me with the Jake Bates questions. What a good kid, man. I mean, just so easy to root for, and what an incredible story.
What kind of contract does a kicker get after this kind of season, Dan? I know it's not over, but moving forward.
It'll be a decent contract. Yeah, I don't think he'll he won't get the contract that the best guys in the league get, but because he's still under control and he doesn't have as much leverage as some other guys might, but he'll get a nice contract. Now, I honestly don't know what he signed the first time. If they signed him to a 2-year deal, just a 1-year deal, or what that was, but whatever it was, they obviously had to outbid a couple of the teams, as you guys alluded to. So it's easy enough to look up, but I'm not 100% sure what he signed the first time.
I think it was 1 year, $100,000, something like that.
Hey, Dan, here's a 2-for-1. What has the kicking of Jake Bates meant to Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions? Because one of the reasons why it became such a good team going forward on 4th down is because they didn't have a kicker. They now have a kicker. What element does that add to Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell's decision making?
That's a good question, Braylon. I'll be honest with you. I don't think a lot.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
still think Dan Campbell believes in his offense, and if he can put his offense out there to make a play, he's going to do that. I just think he's got a certain way that he views field goals, and maybe there's a look. I think we've seen, against Minnesota, they weren't, some of us thought, man, why aren't they trying to get closer? And then even in that game the other night, I thought before the 52-yarder, why aren't they trying to get closer? So maybe that impacts it. He knows this kid's got tremendous range. But I just don't know if it impacts his decisions on fourth downs any more than it did back when he had Badgley or one of those other guys that have been through here. Because I think the bottom line is this. I think he trusts his offense as his best unit. And I think if he's got a chance to empower them and enable them, he does that. And, we've seen him do that pretty consistently since he's been here. But I think it also, gives him confidence clearly that he's got a guy back there that can, nail field goals from range and has been, really good at some critical times against the Rams, against Minnesota, and then this past game as well.
Hey, Dan, real quickly, last thing from me. Last week we talked about the defense in the second half, Aaron Glenn, and how good he's been. Well, I don't want to beat a dead drum, but here we go again. Second half, no point scored. The defense just seems to find a way, when the game is the biggest, to play their best brand of football.
Yeah, and I would even throw in Braylon. I thought that holding them to field goals on those three drives in the first half was huge. Because if they're scoring 7, this game's over. They're not coming back.
Yeah, you're not lying.
Yeah. They had a short field where they scored 1 touchdown. I know they'd like to have that last drive of the half back where they gave up a big play and all of a sudden they're in trouble down there. And they scored 7 on that one. But I really believe that holding them to 3 points 3 times in that first half and having it be 23-7 instead of, 30-7 or 33-7 or whatever it could have been if you get another touchdown or 2 was significant. But there's no doubt that they put the clamps on in the second half. And I thought Stroud helped him a little bit. That wasn't a good throw to the end zone. He puts a little bit more on that. Look, Braylon, you're a receiver.
You need some of that. You need some of that, Dan. You need a little bit of that help sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, look, you need a little help. Look, and the Lions helped them at times too in the game.
Yeah.
So things happen. But those guys did a terrific job. And one thing that you have to point out, 26 carries for whatever it was, 48 yards or whatever that they were able to hold him to. That's the difference in the game, because part of it, significant part of it. If Houston can salt that thing away on the ground and start stacking first downs and burning clocks, it's a different game. Yeah. But the Lions did such a good job on their running game, and on a terrific running back, that if that doesn't happen, maybe this thing goes a different way. So I thought consistently throughout the game, stopping their running game was a huge part of this story as well, because it never let them get comfortable on offense.
Joe Mixon was pissed, man.
Yeah,
he was pissed. He threw he threw the Surface Pro and everything. They had him bottled up. They had him bottled up.
Nowhere to go, and he's a terrific player. He was coming off, I think, a 124-yard game, and he was averaging 4.8 yards per carry. And look, if they can effectively run the ball in that second half, this is probably a different game, because they're burning clock. But instead, they found themselves in second down and long and different situations that put them in a tough spot, where if you're peeling off 6 or 7 yards on first down, it's a different game. But they just were never able to do that.
Every Wednesday, Dan Miller's Weekly Drive, brought to you by Les Stanford. I got to say, flying home on the wings of Jake Bates was one of my favorite calls ever.
Good call.
Good job.
We've talked a lot about the kicking game today, but I want to kind of go on to JMO, because in our first 3 possessions, this team looked lost. There were the SOL fans creeping up in our chat, but there was a play made by JMO where he got hit on that 3rd and 16, right in the hands, looked like he was going to drop it, brought it back in, and gets crunched. Later on in the second half, another big-time 3rd down where he just gets absolutely sandwiched. Weren't we questioning this kid's hands just last year, Dan?
Well, I think there have been times where certainly J-Mo's had some issues with drop balls, but I mean the entire team coming into last week, I think only had one all year. So the entire team has done a better job on that. But yeah, he made a couple of clutch catches. One, he had to go behind him. The other one that, hit his hands, popped up in the air. Credit to him, he caught it. And then the other one you're talking about, he got absolutely drilled and hung on to that football. So
I retired.
Look, his hands are better this year than they have been in the past. He made some critical catches. There was also one where he had to go behind him where he made the catch, which was a really nice catch. So it was, Dan Campbell just got done saying it. It's a fact. It was good to have him back, man. It's just it's such an added weapon when he's in there, knowing that defenses have to respect him and his ability, whether he's just catching it, receiver screen or a crossing route or going on a fly route, whatever it is, you have to respect where he is. And that just makes life easier for everybody else.
I'll tell you, Dan, watching Jared Goff in that game, and I know he had 5 picks. One's a Hail Mary. 2 were tipped. Maybe 2 were his fault out of all of those, to be honest with you. He was harassed. That long ball in the first quarter to J-Mo, when he just underthrew him by a hair, he had a guy basically almost tip that ball. I really felt still confident that he could bring them back, and he don't care. It looks like he just doesn't care. And Dan Campbell's like, I'm not going to change him. Just let him go out there and sling it. You got an all-star team out there. They don't know what the hell's coming at them.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to say you're not going to change him when the guy literally just had 5 games that were better than anybody in the history of the National Football League in certain regards, with completions and quarterback ratings and touchdowns compared to completions. I don't want to say they were due, but you're going to have a game like that. And maybe it's not 5 picks, but as you said, look, a couple of them were tipped. There were some questions about routes on a couple of those as well. Whatever the case, the defense kept them in it, and they didn't allow all of those to turn into, I think they had 10 points off the turnovers. I believe that's it. But and Jared's the kind of guy that he's not going to go into a shell. That's not going to impact him. He's going to go out and try to win the game, and they did that. So I don't look at that as anything other than it was a rough day at the office for the offense. I know the offensive line would tell you they need to be better. Jared took some hits they don't want to see him take, and it just added up to a game where they had some things break against them, but they didn't break, and that's the most important thing. And I anticipate that Jared Goff will come right back out and play good football and be ready to go this week.
Listen, this is a guy that was drafted.
Say this. He played good football when they needed him. That third,
they won the game.
6 connection between him and Amon-Ra from the 48-yard line. If you don't complete that, you're facing a massive decision with around 2 minutes to go. A 66-yard field goal, sure, he's got the distance, but if you miss it, they're in field goal range. If you punt it, you put the ball back in their hands. That 3rd and 6, Goff to Amon-Ra was everything we know this Lions team is. It takes you back to the game clincher against the Rams. It's the protection. It's the quarterback. It's 14 getting open at critical times, and they did it. And that was a huge play.
It is, Dan. And, this guy was drafted number 1 for a reason. But it looks like he got torn down a little towards the end of his stay in L.A. And to come here, let's face it, he got traded here to hang on a vine. Lions were the worst team in the league, or one of them, and they have built him back up. Who do you give the most credit to here in building Jared Goff back up to that number 1 draft choice?
Well, I think there's a number of guys. I think I would start with Brad Holmes and Ray Agnew. The GM and his assistant GM, because they were the guys that had him in Los Angeles, and I think they were the guys that believed from day one that you can rebuild this guy. They saw what he was, they saw what had happened to him, and I think they believed that in the right circumstances, this guy's still an elite quarterback in this league. And so I credit them. I'm sure they convinced Dan Campbell of the same thing. And while we all may have thought he was only going to be here for a short period of time or until they were in position to draft another quarterback, I really think they believed that if they surrounded him with the right players, that they were going to have a quarterback. And that was always the best case scenario. If you didn't have to utilize any of those high draft picks on a quarterback, and Jared Goff could become your guy, and that's what happened. And then look, let's credit Ben Johnson as well. The relationship that those two have and the way that they've worked this offense out to something that Goff is incredibly comfortable in. I just think it's an organizational credit that should go around, and there's certain people that should be named. But man, it's when you build an offensive line like that and you draft weapons like that, and Goff plays with the efficiency and high level that he's playing. I mean, who deserves the most credit? Jared Goff, because Jared Goff is playing his tail off, and these guys believe in him, and that belief has paid huge dividends.
Hey, Dan, pleasure to talk to you again. And I just wanted to talk to you about AG, man. Aaron Glenn, that was one of the best coach games I think we have ever seen him as Lions defensive coordinator, completely shutting out the Houston Texans in the second half after, everything that transpired in the first half. Can you just speak to, the improvement that AG has made this year? Because we all knew that, maybe he was good, but we just needed to see him with more talent. But he has surpassed like a lot of my expectations this year, and I'm sure a lot of other fans as well. Can you just speak to what you're seeing from Aaron Glenn right now as Lions defensive coordinator?
I think it's been tough to evaluate Aaron Glenn over the years. Look, the numbers, if you look at his defense, they were elite against the run last year, not against the pass. And in years before that, the numbers weren't great. But got to have talent. You just said it. You've got to have the talent in this league to play the style that he wants to play like any defensive coordinator wants to play. Look, he finished last year with guys that should not be starting quarterbacks in this league that were forced in there by injury and just put them in a tough position. And then, previous to that, they didn't have much of a pass rush till Aiden came along. He has had defensive deficiencies. They built this offense before they built this defense. And, I think, as you have seen the defensive talent grow, you've seen the job that Aaron Glenn can do. And I think Aaron Glenn's a heck of a defensive coordinator who knows how to work with what he's got, and he hasn't had much at times. But I think now you're starting. Look, if Zadarius Smith can provide a consistent rush, if Josh Paschal is the guy that we saw the other night, and he can be that way consistently. Aleem is playing at a Pro Bowl, maybe an all-pro level right now. He's been terrific. And DJ Reader we know what he is. He's one of the better interior defensive linemen in the league. And throw in other guys, whoever. Nowaski's playing really well for them and giving them some stuff off the edge and a little bit of ability off the edge. I just think if I had to sum up AG's time here, I think he's a really, really good coach, talented leader. But he hasn't had a lot to work with at times. And as he's gotten more to work with, we've seen the results. And I think go back to last year when, as I said, they were elite against the run, struggled against the pass, but what they envisioned, CJ wasn't in there, Mosley wasn't in there. Yeah. The guys that they thought would be the core of that secondary weren't playing.
You mentioned Zadarius Smith, and I want to get back to him. One of the things that I noticed watching the game was just him on the sideline, coaching the defensive line, coaching some of the defensive players. Like, just talk about what does that mean when you see it. You're talking about a guy that's coming in from another team, and he's immediately acclimated himself, and he didn't even have a helmet on. That was really good to see if you're a Lions fan.
Yeah, I think so, and I think he wanted to be here. And Braylon, I think that means everything. And look, obviously it was a tough time in Cleveland. They weren't going anywhere there. He's coming back into a division he knows well. You're going to play for the top team in the NFC right now. You're going to play for a team that a lot of people think is the favorite in the conference and a Super Bowl team. Long way to go, but we all make judgments through 9 weeks, 10 weeks, and we'll make more judgments in the 11th. So, look, it's a wonderful move for him to be able to make. And you're coming to a staff that I think people around the league know players want to play for. So it's all positive. I think he jumped in there and was helping guys. He's got experience that some of these other guys don't have, and I think it's all positive. And just to see his smile after the game and know how excited he was to be in Detroit, it just bodes well. Now let's see him get a helmet on and go out there and play, and I'm excited about it. And I think he can be an impactful player and the kind of player that can make everybody around him better, because you have to respect him. Even at 32, if he's not the same guy he was at 26, and who is? But you know what? I think if you sell him short, he's going to make you hurt. And I think he's the kind of guy that can come in here and change this defense and make life easier for Aleem and DJ and Pascal and whoever else they put out there. It gives offenses something else to think about. But overriding is your point. Just you love the attitude, the smile, the desire to be here, and knowing that he's got a chance to be a part of something special.
Dan, what'd you think of the guys that made a comeback a little bit this week? I'm talking about James Houston and that cast of characters. I mean, he played his best game in 2 years, right?
Coach just talked about him. He said, "Look different," and it did. And look, that's what James has to do. James has to find that every week. That has to be his baseline. And now he's going to have more talent around him with Za'Darius, with those guys in the middle, with Pascal, with Nowoski, with whomever they want to throw out there on the edge, whether it's Beauplan or one of these other guys that they're using. We know there's talent there. I think the question is the depth of that talent and how much can you trust him. I thought a nice play the other night was when he was not on the line. He had dropped, and then he came up and made a play. We hadn't seen a ton of that from James, and I don't know that the coaching staff had a ton of trust in him to do that, but there he was doing it. But he was a factor, and he's got that ability to be a factor. And if he can not make it a comeback, but make it his weekly performance, man, that changes this team. The more guys that you have up front that are impacting a quarterback, that secondary is so good, fellas, that if you give them a chance to make a play on the ball, and that's what you do when you have a pass rush, this defense gets exponentially better if they can do that. So it was great to see. I love hearing Lomas and TJ call his name out because that means he's making plays and he's impactful back there. And again, Campbell just talked about it. He saw it, and that's big for your head coach to start talking about you in a situation like that.
Yeah, Dan, and can you share any information that you have on the statuses of Taylor Decker and Sam Laporta? They're going against the Jags this week, so this may be a week in which you don't really need them like that, and they could sit. But any information you have on those two guys and their statuses for Sunday?
Yeah, and I don't want to be cliche, but don't sleep on the Jags because you know what? In this league, people get beat. It just happens, and I've had people say that. I mean, just things happen in this league. You got to go out and play, and you got to go out and win. If you go out there and have turnovers and make them think this is their week, then it can happen. And they've got some good players in there. And Walker and Allen are two guys that can ruin your day if you let them. So you got to be ready for it. I did not hear, because I was actually out talking to Bates, I did not hear if Coach updated those two guys. What he said on Monday was they were both kind of questionable, both kind of day-to-day, but neither one of them was dealing with something long-term. So I certainly didn't get an overwhelming confidence that they were going to play. The Lions will put something out at 4 o'clock today, which will be – they didn't really have a full practice day. They just had a walkthrough, but they have to put something out in terms of injuries, so we'll see how those guys are listed. But based on what Coach said and just reading the tea leaves, nothing else, kind of iffy, I feel, on both of them as to whether or not they're going to be ready to go this week.
Playing against Mac Jones, though.
We are so blessed to have –
I mean, look, we'll see. I mean, I don't sell anybody short in this league. Look, there were a lot of teams that, when the Lions weren't good, that thought it was going to be a walkover, and every once in a while we surprise somebody. So just you can't go out there and play, half a football game. You can't go out there and play sloppy. You got to play clean. Just go out there. Don't get you know what? You give a bad team a reason to think this is their day, and all of a sudden things change. Those guys start flying around the field. Make them think it's not their day by the second quarter, and you might see a different game. That's, I think, the intention of the Lions.
I was saying we are so blessed to have Dapper Dan here each and every Wednesday for Dan Miller's Weekly Drive, brought to you by Les Stanford. But we are also blessed here in Detroit. I think we're the greatest fan base in the world. We've had Ernie Harwell, Mark Champion, George Blaha, Mickey Redmond, and now Jason Benetti. But we've been listening to you for over 20 years. We are so blessed to have you here as well. Can you just real quick before we let you go speak to how amazing it is in Detroit to have had this long list of Hall of Fame announcers?
Incredible. And throw the two Kens in there too,
and Dan Dickerson.
Our hockey guys are unparalleled. Dan Dickerson, who is, calling magical moments for that baseball team. And I think we talked about this before. I got such I got such respect for baseball guys because I just think to be able to sit there and do what Dan does and carry that for 3 hours or 2:45 a night and make it seem seamless is incredible. And, but look, we are blessed here. We have had a history of great announcers, and I'm not putting myself in that group. I'll talk about what I see as a fan watching these. Well, I appreciate that, but I'm a fan too, and I sit there and I watch these other guys and what they do and how they do it. And look, George has been doing this since the 70s, which is incredible, and called championships in great moments and been through that. And that's the kind of history we all want. That's the kind of, resume we all want is what George has done. And George is moving towards 50 years now, which is just incredible. And to watch, and I've been able to do it, Ken Cal and Ken Daniels' work and the way they do their craft, and it's incredible. And you guys said it, Mark is amazing, and doing 82 games a year, that's a different world too. So, all of them, it's incredible. And I don't want to leave anybody out because I think they're all outstanding. And we've really, in a great sports town, I think you better be ready when you get behind that mic, because I don't think people in Detroit would accept anything less. And I've always taken that as my motivation as, I know what kind of town I'm in here. I know what kind of fans these are, and it's up to me to live up to their standards. And I think that's what you have to do. And we certainly have people that have done that and continue to do that with all of our teams here, which are just incredible announcers.
Thanks, Dan.
He is class personified. He's Dan Miller. He's Fox 2. We appreciate him every Wednesday, and thank you for taking the time. Appreciate you,
buddy.
Dan.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks, man.
Back at you.
Yeah, he's truly personified, class personified. It's a great question by you, and it led to even greater answer by Dan. Just thinking about all those people that have been here in Detroit and called games on the radio or on TV. We truly have been blessed to have some of the legends. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll digest a little bit of what Dan Campbell said. Anson, tell us about KDK Law.
Well, they're right here in Birmingham. And if you are dealing with some of those tough law things like divorce or child custody, visitation, or any other family law issue, you've got to call Kevin and Catherine of KDK Law, again, right here in Birmingham, because these two, they got your back. They've got 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. That is just so important. Make sure you scan that QR code you see right above my head, or give them a call, 248-971-0476. Make sure that you mention Woodward Sports sent you, and they'll take care of that filing fee for you. KDK Law, they got your back.
So does Dr. Jeff Pierce, Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins us every Tuesday on Big D Energy. He's with us on Thursdays. We'll have him on tomorrow. He keeps you in the game. And, of course, he's going to get Aiden Hutchinson back on the field a lot quicker than you believe. Give him a call right now, 248-426-9944. It's Dr. Jeff S. Pierce, MichiganSportsandSpine.com.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
You're an ugly guy. That's okay, because you have a hot girl on your arm. Now Woodward Sports and Les Stanford want to reward you for outkicking your coverage.
I am ugly as by traditional standards.
That's right. If your significant other's hotter than you could win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Detroit. So find the best pic of her with the average-looking you and post it on X or Instagram.
You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. You ugly.
Make sure you tag at Woodward Sports and follow us Twitter. We'll announce the winner November 25th. Then you and your much better-looking lady will get tickets to watch Dan Campbell and the Kneecappers.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
Inside of Ford Field on Thanksgiving. So find the best pic of her and the worst pic of you. And show us all how you outkicked your coverage. Woodward Sports and Les Stanford. A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? You should see what I did there. Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
For a limited time only, I keep telling you guys that you're going to blink and the wings will be gone. But for now, they're still here talking about the signature wings of Soroki's, where the real fan favorites. These wings are fire, man. The lemon peppers are the best, but they got the teriyaki, the buffalo, parmesan, garlic. Like, you go through the list, they're good. You just got to do, all you got to do is call, pick up the phone, or show up, because they also have crispy chicken as well as pizza, and they're known for those honey biscuits, the honey biscuits, and that's what'll really get you. Salads and sides on the way, but try those biscuits and try those signature wings for a limited time only.
Braylon, you know I love those biscuits. Woo! But I got to say, this Outkicking Your Coverage competition put on by Les Stanford Chevrolet.
Are you submitting?
No,
okay.
no. And I know you aren't either, bro. But listen, this Outkicking Your Coverage is pretty awesome. If you've got a significant other who's hotter than you, all right, and you've probably been told you've been outkicking your coverage for a long time, so you know if you fit this, we want you to take a picture, send it where your partner's looking hot and you're not. You're going to get a chance to win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game here in Detroit. Once again, find that best picture where you look average and they look great. You're going to put it on Instagram or X with the hashtag Woodward Tickets or Woodward Sports and follow us to enter. We will announce a winner on November 25th. Outkick Your Coverage from Woodward Sports and Les Stanford Chevrolet, Cadillac, GMC, and Buick in Dearborn and Funeral. Get that camera ready and get yourself to the Thanksgiving Day game.
As of right now, I do feel better about having Decker this week. You know, he was out there at walkthrough going through, and you know, I feel like he's questionable, but I'm starting to feel pretty good about him. I think he's going to be able to make it. You know, tomorrow will tell a lot. Certainly, that'll be a full speed practice for us. But everybody else is trending the right way. Really, Laporta's the one guy who's not practicing today. You know, didn't go through walkthrough or anything like that. And like I say, he's day to day.
Welcome into the second hour of the show. It's Dan Campbell talking about the injuries for this week, talking about Sam Laporta as well as Taylor.
Sit him out.
Decker. Yeah, 100%.
Sit him out.
And I heard what Dan said, and I absolutely agree. Look, in the NFL, there's a reason why they have the saying, any given Sunday.
Yeah.
With that being said, this is not going to be a game that you need either one of them. Dan Skipper's done a much more than a good job filling in his stead. And then Sam Laporta is a guy that you're going to need when the playoffs come around. Right. You're going to need him down the stretch, down the line.
We'll take Brock Wright and Shane Zylstra this week. Thank
100%. So appreciate it, but
Sione Vaki. Put him at tight end.
Did you see that tackle?
Oh, yeah. You bet I did.
One arm.
I sent it to you right away.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Yes, you did. He took out two guys, carried one guy to the other tackle, and just
that's how you make this team. That's how you get to play on this team, by showing what he did on special teams.
That's how you make money.
Yep.
Because other teams see that. And other teams, who's this guy Ziolkowski? Tell me more about Ziolkowski. Now you signed a deal with another squad. Obviously you want to be Lions, but that's how you get paid in this NFL. Everybody is trying to contribute. Everybody wants to contribute to winning for this Detroit Lions
Especially
team.
Jalen Reeves-Maybin's down and out for a few more weeks. He's the best guy you got on special teams. He's one of the best in the NFL.
Pro Bowler.
And so here's your chance, Sione. Let's see what you got. And I already know what you got.
As bad as I want to see him run the rock, I want to see like 20 snaps on defense.
Where's he going to fit? You can't get in that
Good
secondary.
Point. Very good point.
I don't even know where Enos Rakestraw is.
Side note, say that again. You can't even fit on the secondary.
You can't.
We weren't saying that less than a year ago.
It's amazing.
Less than a year ago, we were like, this secondary is god-awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were getting up 600 yards a game.
They're one of the best in the NFL
they
right
are,
now
period.
as we sit.
And it goes to what Dan Miller, it goes with what Dan Miller was saying about Aaron Glenn, the question that you asked, and just what he's been able to do. You talk about the in-between, the 2 minutes before the half, the 2 minutes at the end of the game. And there's something about that second half, the adjustments that they make. They come into the second half, and they're ready. You see the tenacity. Amik Robertson had a couple physical tackles in the second half. You see Carlton Davis, he came out right away. Got to make a play, made 2 big plays for the team. So you see the hat on the desk.
Oh!
You see the hat on the desk?
It's an oldie but goodie.
It's an oldie but goodie. It lets you know that it is a cap or no cap type day. Cap means lie. No cap means
Let's explain this to
truth.
Anson again.
Oh, yeah.
Cap means
Anson does his own
lie. No cap means you agree.
Right.
So we got some
sometimes you got to clarify the question.
Capiche?
This is true.
Capiche?
Capiche.
Get with the time.
All right.
Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Peace,
All right,
Spyback.
young man.
You pick, sir.
Here we go in order.
Here we go. All right, now 5 interceptions. Man, you said it wasn't a big thing.
Nope.
You see how he responded. Well, you see how Lamar Jackson played last week. Josh Allen now moving up. With this performance, is Jared Goff MVP hopes? Are they cooked? Or let me say, I have to form it as a statement. So there you go. Jared Goff's MVP status is cooked. Cap or no cap?
Cap, because the guy lost the first half and then he won the second half. It's your MVP.
I like
Bam.
that was very simple. KG?
Cap, because he can play his way back into it. Now, that game did not do him any favors at all. Let's not mistake ourselves. 5 picks is 5 picks, no matter how they turned out. A couple of them were his fault. I know we like to talk about the ones that weren't, but he has plenty of time to play his way back into this. I mean, his completion percentage still through the roof, and he's been one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC. So,
gotcha. And you already agree with Anson?
I want you to bring this question back in December.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Bring this question back in December.
And I say cap.
Say cap?
Yeah, because I just think that there's going to be more sexier picks because the NFL, it's going to be hard to beat like Patrick Mahomes or any of these bigger names. No cap. See, I get confused. So no cap on that. That's me. Sorry,
all
guys.
the old people.
That Bowling Green education.
Yes.
It's all good. Look, man, I love Jared Goff.
You know what I mean. You guys know what I mean.
I love Jared Goff. I put a bid in on Jared Goff to win MVP. I'll show it to you if you don't believe me, but I think it's cooked. But I don't think it's because of this past game. I think what you're seeing Lamar Jackson do is something we've never seen before. And I know Lamar won it last year. If you look at his numbers, you said he didn't throw touchdowns. Now he's throwing touchdowns. You said he didn't have the best efficiency. He has the best efficiency rate. You said he couldn't get yards. Now he has yards. Lamar Jackson's doing something we've never seen done. And oh, by the way, he also has 560 yards rushing to go with it.
If he's 11-6, is he still MVP?
Yeah, because it's the numbers and he's winning. He's got better numbers than any time he's ever won the MVP. And maybe that's true. And maybe that'll come back to bite him in the butt.
I hate to be on my knee. I was told because he fails at the playoffs, he won't win it the third time.
Yeah, but the MVP ain't about the playoffs.
Regular season.
Because if it was about the playoffs, then Patrick Mahomes would win every year.
Yep. That's a fact.
He would win every year. So I think it's cooked, but not because of this past game.
NFL's hard pressed to give out back-to-back MVP awards, though, so he better win some more games.
Aaron Rodgers did it 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
Seems like 30.
Right, because he looks like it's been 30 years since then. All right, next one up there, Pete.
You got it, buddy.
You know what? I'm looking right now, and I was looking at it. I think Jahmyr Gibbs ranked 7th or 8th in yards right now. He's 2nd in touchdowns, and he's like 9th, 10th, or 11th in attempts. Right now, Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley lead the way. Josh Jacobs is right there as well, and there's a couple other backs. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs will be an all-pro. First team.
He will be a
Cap or
Pro
no cap?
Bowler. but it is Cap.
So he will not be
He will
first
not
team
be an
All-Pro.
All-Pro. There's 3 guys ahead of him named Saquon, Alvin, and Bijan. And I do think he's better than Bijan, but the way that his role on this team is, the amount of touches that Monty gets, I just don't know if he'll have the volume to eclipse those 3.
He's got 1 more touchdown than Bijan, and he's got 40 less carries than Bijan.
Bijan's about to have a big second half, though, I think.
Okay, I like it. Tom Masaway, first team All-Pro, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Who's my favorite Lion?
It is Jahmyr Gibbs.
He's my first team All-Pro.
Okay.
So I will say no cap.
Okay. Okay. Peace Spyback, I bring it to you. Jahmyr Gibbs, as you read, will be first team All-Pro. Cap
Yeah,
or
no cap. I agree with Cap. I'm sorry, I do agree with how Anson put it because of the fact of all the poster boys in front of him with Saquon and Bijan. So I agree.
I'll take this guy over all of those guys.
You know what?
You hear me?
I'm gonna say this is no cap.
There you go, baby.
This is no cap. The reason why I look at it like this, they reward winners. The Detroit Lions are going to have the best record in the NFC. I think you'll see Jahmyr Gibbs take a big step in the second half of the year. He'll have receiving and rushing yards, and he's second in touchdowns, only behind Derrick Henry.
What's he have right now, yardage?
746.
And passing and receiving?
Like 300.
So he's 1,000 already.
Yeah.
8 games to go. He's got a shot for 2,000 yards
100%.
total offense. That's a first teamer.
100%. That's what I'm saying. And the Lions like getting Jahmyr in the end zone. Last week was the first time Jahmyr hadn't been in the end zone in a very long time. So they'll get him some touchdowns. I'm going to go no cap. I think he's first team All-Pro. He will be when it's all said and done. It'll be he, Derrick Henry, Saquon in the jump. I think he'll be second team.
All right.
That's my thoughts. All right, Pete, what we got?
You got this.
Cap, no cap. Amon-Ra will never have another season like 2023. Last year, 1,453 yards, 10 touchdowns. It was an amazing season, the second team All-Pro season for Amon-Ra St. Brown. But as the offense has evolved, there are more players. Seems like he's not getting the touches that he had last year. So I say to you, Anson, he will never have a season like he did last year. Cap or no cap?
That's tough.
You know, I just answered your last question based on volume, but I'm looking at this guy right now. He's got 524 yards, 2 games basically where he disappeared because of all the offensive weapons, but he's got 67, or sorry, that's targets. Yeah, I think he's going to be really hard pressed to do that. And to be quite honest with you, Lions fans, you want this to be no cap, because you don't want to have to depend on one player for 1,500 yards every single season, and we don't have to anymore. We got enough weapons. So I'm actually going to say no cap, and that's a good thing.
Maz, let me ask it to you this way, or any other season, because I think we're looking at it in just this season and what they're learning now. I'll make it this way, or any other season, cap or no cap?
It's a cap.
So you think he will have another?
I know he will.
Okay.
I know he will. He doesn't take being second, third, fourth to anybody.
Okay.
He wants to be the best. I wouldn't be surprised if one year he leads the league in receptions and yardage. How about that?
Pete, you're shaking your head. What do you got for me?
Oh, I know. I agree with him. That's 100%. I'm all on. Maz is absolutely correct. It's cap, baby.
All right. KG, bring up the rear.
That's so tough, man, trying to predict.
It's a tough one.
Trying to predict this many. I'll say no. I'll say cap, because just we don't know what this team will look like 3 or 4 years down the road. Do I think Amon-Ra is capable of having another season like that? Yes. It'll be hard, with J-Mo and with Laporta and all the weapons on the team to reach 1,400 again. But he's capable of that. It's hard to predict.
I'm going no cap. It's never happening again.
Of course,
never, ever happening.
I expected that.
You never liked him to begin with, besides that bowling.
Right, you called him a slant merchant.
Who you kidding?
You said he was a slant merchant.
That's all. He's a slot merchant.
He's a
That's
slot
it.
guy.
That's all he is.
Stop slot shaming.
No,
Stop slot shaming.
He's a slot shamer. He's a slot shamer.
No doubt.
Some of the best
Shame
wide
in the
receivers in
slots.
the league are slot guys.
The X's always are, man.
I
The
play X
X's
and
always
Z.
are.
I play X and Z.
No, Braylon actually fought against that narrative.
What's a
Oh,
slot?
you
What
said-
letter's a slot?
Y.
Okay.
Or A.
I thought Z was
Why
the
you gotta
slot.
be
I
so
thought
bad?
X, Y.
Z
No,
is
that's
on,
right.
is the-
Z is on the ball. X is off the ball.
Yeah.
You gotta know that.
Then I say, why do you have to be so mean to Amon-Ra?
That was a good one.
Why?
That was a good one.
Why?
That was a good. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No,
He
you do.
showed me.
You like him at bowling? I know. I
mean,
got you.
1,500 yards last year. He's on his pace to hit just over 1,000 this year. But, you know, he probably can come close to his receptions, and he should dust his touchdowns from last year.
Yeah, now touchdowns is
Lions
different.
fans, you don't want him to ever repeat that. You want the weapons and the balance that this offense has currently.
Yeah, this is true. Although when the Rams won the Super Bowl, Cooper Kupp had almost 1,900.
Yeah.
100%. All right, what we got next, Pete? Let's keep it rocking and rolling. Now, this was a trick question. I'm gonna start with you, Tom Mazaway.
Let's go.
Cap or no cap? This is a good one. Dan Campbell is a top 3 coach in this league. Cap or no cap?
No cap.
No cap.
Hell yeah. You know he's my man.
He's your guy.
He's my man. Now let's go around the league.
Right.
Okay, put Andy Reid at the top.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's see.
You're gonna come to 4th.
How many
I promise you.
How many other guys in the NFC? Let's start in the NFC.
You're gonna come to
NFC
4th.
East. I see nobody in the NFC East. Let's go to our league.
No Kyle
NFC
Shanahan?
North.
Oh.
Nobody.
Yep.
Matt LaFleur, maybe a little bit behind Dan Campbell. Let's go to the South.
Okay.
Nobody.
Okay.
Let's go to the West. Kyle Shanahan. I'm still putting him a step behind Dan Campbell. Nobody. Sean McVay. All right. Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. I'll put Sean over Kyle. Now let's go to the AFC.
Okay.
AFC East. We got the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, no thanks. Jets, come on, give me a break. Patriots, forget it. Bills, nah. Who am I missing?
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
That's
okay.
right.
So
Mike
that's the
Tomlin.
AFC
Right.
North.
18 for 18.
Mike Tomlin in the NFC North. No one else in the NFC North does anything for me.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur?
AFC South. Jacksonville, Indy, Texans. No. Nobody there. In the West, Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the West either. Sean Payton is there. Sean Payton won a Super Bowl. All right, so
did
you're
Doug
right.
Pe-
He's
so
top 5.
So did Doug Peterson, which means absolutely nothing.
Right.
This is why
But Sean Payton is better than Doug Peterson.
Agreed.
That's a fact.
Agreed. This is why I knew it was a trick question, because I knew he couldn't be higher than 4. So I knew it was going to be interesting. Look, you got Andy Reid.
I was
Andy
close.
Reid. No, you were. Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin for the job that he's doing. And then you go to, Kyle Shanahan, you said it.
And Sean McVay.
Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. You can argue
Matt LaFleur.
You can argue Sean McVay because Dan Campbell's beat him twice in less than a year.
Yeah.
I think head-to-head he's beat him
Yeah.
twice. I would put Dan Campbell over him.
Okay.
But I think Kyle Shanahan, because of they've still done it, and they beat the Lions last year. So I put him 4th in the
feel you.
NFL
Hey,
right now.
But
Off the top of my head, I think I
That's-
did a pretty damn good job.
You did a great
No,
job.
for real.
You
But
did a hell
are
of
we
a job.
talking in terms of like just overall or this year? Because if we
Overall.
talk about this year, I mean, you can put obviously Andy Reid. You can put Sean McVay up there, but I got Dan Campbell at 3rd. I don't think Kyle Shanahan this year is a better coach than Dan Campbell. I don't. And you can argue McVay, but if you want to give McVay, that's fine. But I don't see how Shanahan's a better coach this year than.
Well, I mean, I'm still using I'm still using the momentum of what happened in the playoffs, and the 49ers beat Dan Campbell head-to-head. But if you just want to use this year, you're right. I mean, the 49ers have had a ton of injuries. So
They have, but they always do. What's the
This
story?
is
That's
true.
always the story with them.
Offensive player of the year out, man.
Yeah.
No cap.
Your whole offense
It's-
shouldn't revolve around C-Mac.
Well, Brandon Ayuk got hurt week 2.
Well, that's true, but
So
I mean,
C-Mac, no Ayuk,
he no
no
Debo.
C-Mac.
I mean,
Debo missed 2 games.
yeah.
Anyone else freezing, by the way?
Always.
You
A
can
little
turn
bit.
it down.
Just checking.
All right.
Well, that's no cap.
No
for me.
cap.
Yep.
Absolutely no cap.
Top
This
3.
guy was the coach of the year last year.
That's a fact.
We can talk about history, but I mean, like, what has Shanahan actually won? Okay? McVay, cute, but we've watched him absolutely.
But you can't use the what have you won because neither has Dan Campbell.
What I'm saying is
Yeah.
this.
Look at his
A
record
bunch
in
of
the last
guys
3
are
years,
looking
though.
at their history of these
Shanahan.
guys. There's only 2 coaches better than Dan Campbell in this league right
Yes.
now, and it's Tomlin
Yes.
and it's Mr. Man
Mr.
over in
Reid.
Kansas City. I can't
Yep.
think of his name.
Andy
for some
Reid.
reason. Andy Reid. Thank
Andy
you.
Reid.
What this guy in Detroit has done to a completely garbage franchise and turned it into the Super Bowl favorite out of the NFC right now cannot be over. I mean, it's needs to be focused on and studied what this guy has done, not just to play on the field, but to the culture and to the belief of the fan base. What he did with a really bad team 2 years ago to go and win out to be 9-8. What he did with this team last year with no defense, and what he is doing right now. The guy is honestly changing the game. Other coaches are following suit and following his fourth down, treachery to.
That's a fact.
Now listen, what this guy is doing is changing the NFL. He's gonna win a ring here. He should win Coach of the Year this year. He should have won it last year. I don't care what McVay or Shanahan has done. This man's number 3. No cap, baby.
The only problem with your conversation, which was a great one, I loved everything you said, is when you open up the door to what he's done since he's been here, it was 4 years, then you have to do the same for Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan took over a bad San Francisco 49ers team at the time, and they've done nothing but be in the NFC Championship for the last 7 years. True. So if you're going to say that, that's why it's hard to argue Kyle Shanahan. At the end of the day, they could be 3A and 3B for all I care, because both of them have been coaching it to where your point is right now. Dan Campbell's is more recent. He's doing it right now.
Ask me again in February, my friend.
I think that's the best time to ask it.
Yes,
I think it's the best time. What we got next, Pete? Let's get a couple more. We'll get a quick commercial break. Let's switch it up a little basketball here.
Ooh,
all right,
wow.
KT, I come to you first. Cade Cunningham. You look at what he's doing right now. He's averaging, I want to say, 23.4, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
Almost a triple-double a night.
100%. Will Cade Cunningham ever average? Cade
Cunningham will average.
There you go. Cade Cunningham will average a triple-double before he retires. So a whole season before he retires, cap or no cap?
I'm going to say cap only because it's only been done twice ever.
Anson jumped you.
I know, right?
He looked at me, man. I'm sorry. The fact is I would love to see it. I've been having to debate who the next guy who could possibly do it. Now that J-Dub's running the point without Giddey over in OKC, I think that he's a candidate. Cade is certainly a candidate, but to be able to hold
It's been done more than twice.
What's that?
It's been done more than twice.
Yeah. It's Russell and I'm sorry, and Joker, Russell and Big O.
And the Big O.
But for
James Harden.
Yeah, Harden did average.
Harden did
look
too.
At you schooling me. So 4 players, man. Listen, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. Again, I think that this is something that you need. No, it's cap. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's really tough to do.
Are we talking about like career average or just in a season?
No,
one
season.
Okay. Average. Just 4 seasons.
Well, in a season, that's no cap. Like I do feel like he has the ability to average a triple-double. Now that he's starting to get them and he's getting more help around him, then I feel like it's only, a formality. He'll eventually have a triple-double season. He can do it all. He plays defense, he rebounds, assists, he can score with the best of them. Yeah.
No cap for me, man. I think he'll do it next year.
Yeah, I can see it.
Next year.
Yeah, no cap, absolutely. No, when you lead, you lead, and he's a leader, so let the leader eat. Let him cook. Let Cade cook.
Everything.
What happens if we actually have a 7-foot center and it's like more than one guy that can rebound? You sure that he could do that?
Oh, then maybe that changes, but
We're
they don't have
we're talking in one season.
No, I get that.
Right.
I'm just saying,
They don't even let Jalen Duren rebound as much as he should.
So I'll say what I was going to say. I was going to say no cap. I agree with you guys. I think he'll do it. I think he's going to do it for multiple seasons, to be honest.
Wow.
Even if you get a taller guy in there, a 7-foot guy to clog the lane up a little bit, he doesn't have to have 40 points. He only needs 10, 15 points to get going.
I'm worried about his rebounds.
Yeah, but he's a big point guard. He's the one that he's a different type point guard. He reminds me of a Russell Westbrook that likes to be in the paint because he always likes to control whether he's shooting the shot, kicking the shot, or kicking out after a miss. I think he's that type of point guard. Loves to be in the paint as well.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
he's a defensive rebounder
easy for him a little bit too.
He's a defensive rebounder.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So next one right here. Let's stick with the Pistons. Pistons still have it. Okay, we talked about this earlier, and this is some of the conversation.
Shot at the playoffs? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Well, they're in the playoffs right now.
But there's a long season.
82
games. Pistons will make the playoffs. Cap or no cap. I think that's what this comes down to.
Looking at the East and drinking that red, white, and blue Kool-Aid that I've been raised on since the bottle, no cap. No cap. I think at the very least we're going to see him in a playoff game or in a play-in game.
Play-in, okay. Is the play-in? Does the play-in count as the playoff?
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
Okay.
For us, it does.
Okay. For this conversation, it does.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't
For the
think
Pistons,
it
it does.
but
Okay. Move the goalpost back a little bit.
I gotta say Cap.
Even on a play-in. Even on a 10 seed.
Like, could they make the play-in? Yes. I don't consider the play-in to be playoffs, nor do I think the East will continue to be this bad. I mean, there are still a lot of good teams in the East. Only having 2 teams above 500 in the East, that's not going to last, man, especially once we get after All-Star break. So for that reason and that reason alone, I would say no this year. But going forward, absolutely.
All right, Pete. Next one's for you and Maz. What do we got?
Next one?
Yep.
There you go, buddy.
Cap or no cap, Steph Curry will have another MVP season.
The smile on Maz's face when that came up.
He loved him some Steph.
Pete?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to Maz. I'm so sorry, man. For me,
I don't care about it. We know what Maz is.
We know what Maz. So I'm agreeing with Maz, man. I think it's no cap. Steph Curry, he has one last MVP season in him.
Maz hasn't even said anything yet, Pete.
I know what he's going to say because he loves himself some Steph Curry. And Maz, you might as well take it away, dude.
Maz is also rational.
I am rational.
Go ahead, buddy.
He'll win MVP this year.
Yep.
I knew it. That's why I put it on here. Yes.
Stop
this year.
Yes.
This year. Without his splash brother, he will get them to the playoffs and get them deep into the playoffs as well.
KG.
It's hard to argue, man, because if he keeps shooting like this, I got to say no cap.
He looks like he's reborn.
Yeah, like he don't look like he's slowing down at all. And we was talking before the show, like, what does old Steph Curry look like? Is he still really shooting the blood out of it like he is, man? Like, I don't know, man. If he continues on this pace, I can see him getting one more.
I think. Go ahead, Anson.
I, at 36 years old, having played an entire Olympics, I am going to say that is absolutely cap.
Yeah.
A lot of players, including Anthony Davis.
Who was MVP of the Olympics?
A lot of
Who
guys.
was? That's what I asked you.
LeBron?
No.
A lot of guys.
Well, that's who got it.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
Yeah, it was Steph.
No, he killed.
A lot of guys,
them
including
Olympics.
Anthony Davis, are playing in mid-season form. Look at Tatum. All these guys that played all summer long are coming in and playing amazing. Now, if you're 27, I don't see a problem continuing that all year. But Steph Curry is 36 years old. He'll be 37 in March. Buddy Hield has already stepped in for him a couple games that he missed out of injury. It's going to be really hard for him to keep this up all year after playing a full summer, because we see these older veterans after an Olympic run hit the wall come February usually. So I love it, but cap.
All right, I'm going to agree with my man Maz and say that he wins this year. I'm going with Maz. He wins this year. Look, I get it. You're absolutely right.
Good for the NBA if he wins.
Steph will play 65 games and they will have a deep run in the playoffs. Like, I get it. I think it'll be him, Tatum, Joker, Anthony Edwards. I think those would be your four.
Now, if he does win that MVP, at least one more, does that finally put him in the top 10?
Top 10?
I think he's in there now.
Top 10?
Top 10 of all time.
He's already in the top 10.
Some people will argue not.
Well, those people are stupid.
Tell him, Maz.
All right, you got it, man.
Tell him, Maz. All right, look, we'll take a break for this. Pay some of these bills, and we'll come back. We'll talk. It's a Wednesday, so we'll talk to my man, intern Alex, about the Michigan Wolverines, but bigger yet, the Big Ten picture, because these guys aren't in that picture. First, let's get a message from pregame show.
Listen, Lions game day. You know where to be. The second best bar down in Detroit. You're going to start things off. Woodward and Maine, two legends. Old school Terry Foster and new school Matt Broder. Get everything nice and tight before the game. Then the pregame right then, you're going to have Mr. Neil Rule as well as Sean Belizian. They're going to break everything down for you. Get your fantasy teams ready. And once again, this will be live from Second Best Bar. And it is the New Holland Brewing Company, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, and 1800 Tequila, as well as Siroki's and Sabbath Coffee. But they're not done, because they are all sponsoring the watch party and the post-game show, which you can join us for right there in Shelby Township at Hayes Social. Once again, all of our awesome sponsors will be in the house, as well as the heavyweights during the game. And then myself, that's not me, myself, and that handsome man Stick right there will be doing the post game. So make sure you come out and join us. We had an amazing time on Sunday, and we look forward to having you with us this weekend.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
You're an ugly guy. That's okay, because you have a hot girl on your arm. Now Woodward Sports and Les Stanford want to reward you for outkicking your coverage.
I am ugly as by traditional standards.
That's right. If your significant other's hotter than you can win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Detroit. So find the best pic of her with the average-looking you and post it on X or Instagram.
You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. You ugly.
Make sure you tag at Woodward Sports and follow us to enter. We'll announce the winner November 25th. Then you and your much better-looking lady will get tickets to watch Dan Campbell and the Kneecappers.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
Inside a Ford Field on Thanksgiving. So find the best pic of her and the worst pic of you. And show us all how you outkicked your coverage.
Your mama said you ugly. Hey.
From Woodward Sports and Les Stanford, a network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
Head to shop.woodwardsports.com right now and load up on some of the great Detroit sports merch that we have over there. We still have those political t-shirts, the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell. That's the party you want to vote for. So get yourself some new Lions gear, because the Lions have a lot of football left to go until mid-February. Then the Tigers are in session in spring, so get yourself some new Tigers gear. Don't forget about the upstart Pistons. They're back. Get new gear for them and new Red Wings gear as well. Head to shop.woodwardsports.com right now and load up, baby.
If I told you could place up to any bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you'll get your money back, you think I was crazy. But I keep telling you, I'm not. It's at Caesar Sportsbook. What you do is you bet $1,000. If you lose that $1,000 or up to $1,000, you get those bonus bets. You get those bets back in bonus bets. You gotta use the promo code. Promo is Woodward1000, all caps. Scan that QR code above my head. This is how you get active. You see the Pistons winning? Could have bet on that last night. Could have made yourself some money, and you could have did it on Caesar Sportsbook, where the odds are the best. Join us, Caesar Sportsbook.
All right.
All right. It's Wednesday, so it's time for our Skinny Bitch of Wolverine Wednesdays with our man, Alex. Alex, what's new around the campus, brother?
What's up, Alex?
Hey, not much, you know. Freshmen kind of saddened around this football season, but other than that, everything's going pretty well over here.
First question, are you excited about this passes situation that's come up with U of M joining forces with passes to get a little cash, get a little NIL going, and get a little money to be big in the NIL space this offseason, as they're looking probably to try to flip a young quarterback we know from around the corner? Are you excited about them stepping up and working in this NIL space?
Yeah, I mean, the new passes deal is just great all around for Michigan. For those who don't know, it's a platform where you can go and subscribe to Michigan athletes as they make content and all that, and they have deals for all that. But I think it's just great that it shows Michigan's finally showing this new willingness to move into this new era and this new century of college football. And we're not just waiting around and not paying players or anything like that. We're going out, we're being aggressive, and they're trying to go out and attract the best talent through that. So I think it's only a great sign for things to come from Michigan football.
I'm looking forward to that, Alex. And it looks like other people can also chip in. So Dave Portnoy, he wants to put $3 million up. They could just add that to the coffers, from what I understand.
Yeah, they can. One of the great things about this new thing is, from my understanding, it doesn't matter how much you want to contribute, big or small. So any fan of Michigan can go ahead, and if they want to try to help out the team or whatever, they can do that through passes. So once again, hopefully if that message can kind of get out, so it's not just collective driven from the mega donors or anything, that's just be good for the program as a whole in the future to get as much money as possible in there.
Hey, last week, I know you went to Bloomington. Am I not correct?
You are correct. I was in Bloomington. Sally to witness that.
I know. What did you think of? What did you think of the whole experience there? I mean, are they really the number 5 team in the country in your estimation?
Honestly, I really don't think so. After what I saw, they looked great in the first half, and if they would have kept that up in the second half, then I think there's starting to be some debate about it. But really, we saw kind of in the second half that Michigan defensive line really remembered who they were and got going and kind of made it a nightmare situation back there for Curtis Rourke. And they really sputtered on offense in the second half. So between that, I think Ohio State will really be able to pounce on that in a few weeks. And then I think a team with better play calling can actually take advantage better with Michigan, like Ohio State will be. Indiana threw a pick, and Michigan recovered at the 7-yard line. Then in the ensuing 3 plays, they got a grand total of 4 yards. Indiana shanked a punt, and Michigan got the ball at about the 35-yard line, and that once again resulted in a field goal. So I feel like a team with more competent play calling or better offensive coordinator will be able to pounce on these Hoosiers. Now, that's not to say they don't have a good offense, and when they're really clicking, it is explosive. However, I don't see a team that will probably make it past the first round of the playoff.
Hey, Alex, and I got to ask you this question because, Bray got after me a little bit yesterday. Shout out to Bray. It's all love, man. But, we were talking about, if Michigan were to become bowl eligible, should they accept the bid, to play in the bowl game? Because Bray feels if they lose, then that just brings more shame to the season and everything we done went through.
I said that you got to say which bowl game.
He's talking about Detroit.
I said one particular bowl game.
Okay, yeah. He was talking about the bowl game in Detroit. So if Michigan were to be offered the bowl game in Detroit, do you think that Michigan would accept that bid and play the game, or do you think they would turn that down or should turn it down because of, everything that has happened this season, and if they lose, it would look even worse on this program?
Yeah, so I see both sides of it. So on the side of people saying they should turn it down, one's a pride thing, and then the other argument that I've heard is Michigan potentially imposing a 1-year bowl ban to try to get over that NCAA allegations or anything like that, or, to kind of self-punish more at the NCAA. I don't think they should do that. I think for me personally, if they get to a bowl, no doubt they should take it, because those extra 15 practices that you get for being bowl eligible is going to be so crucial, because all of Michigan's players going to the draft will not be playing in whatever bowl game Michigan makes. They shouldn't. It's a business decision, and it'd be best if they just go and focus, don't get hurt, help out the program recruiting long term. But a team like Michigan?
Go ahead, Alex. My bad.
Oh, yeah. A team like Michigan that's replacing so much talent next year, they need these extra 15 practices. They need stuff to click a little more. They need to get comfortable, get younger guys comfortable and up to speed in the defensive system, and they need those snaps in the game. So for me, there's no question that Michigan should take the bowl bid if they get it, no matter if they're just playing at Ford Field the day after Christmas.
Do they get the 6th win? Do they beat Northwestern? I'm not even going to talk about Ohio State.
Yeah, I think they still get Northwestern. Michigan still has immensely superior talent. Northwestern is a team that also hasn't really done anything that's super impressive this year or is super scary on either side of the ball. So I think Michigan, from at least a talent aspect alone, should be able to go out and beat Northwestern next week.
What are you looking for in terms of the rest of the season, Alex? The last 3 games of the season, I think, what do we got? We got Purdue, we got Northwestern, we have Ohio State. Last 3 games of the season, what are you trying to see out of this team? What are you looking at? What are you pointing to? What do you hope to see is a better question.
Yeah, well, one of the big things, and this has kind of fallen off in the past few weeks, which I really hope to see, is I want to see this run game get up and going again, because it has been non-existent. Like last Saturday against Indiana, we only had 0.45 yards before contact, and you could see, rewatching it, this offensive line is not moving people off the ball at all like we've been so accustomed to the past few years. And I'm not expecting them to execute the same level. However, I would like it to be slightly better. Then also all our ball carriers, they only forced 4 missed tackles on 33 carries this week. So I want to see some semblance of life out of the run game, because people have been on the passing game all year long. I don't think the run game is getting really enough blame for how bad it's really doing recently.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can just blame people keying in on that, because people are stacking the box against Boise State, and we might not have Ashton Jeanty, but they're finding ways to get it going. Same with the service academies. They find ways to get it going. So the run game is what I really want to see. Then on the defensive side of the ball, I just want to see some improvement in our defensive backfield and by how quick our linebackers read and react to the play. I expect most players on both the linebackers and the defensive backfield to be back next year. And I just want to see some tangible growth for them that will make me at least feel confident about that aspect of our defense going into the next year.
3 teams out of the Big Ten in the top 5 in the country right now. Who's the best and why?
4. There's 4. Oregon.
I mean,
I know Oregon. Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana.
Penn State. Penn State.
Penn State's still in there? I know they got one loss.
Unfortunately,
I said,
Penn State's at 4.
where are they at?
They're 4, I think.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey.
4 teams in the Big Ten in the top 5. Who's the best?
I don't think any of them are
why.
good.
Yeah, it's a.
I mean, just look at it right now. It's got to be Oregon, right? They're the only undefeated one. They beat Ohio State's second highest.
In a close game. That's the only reason why I ask. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Oregon as well, especially when you go back and look at that game, they could have beaten Ohio State by double digits that day.
I agree.
There were multiple things that didn't go their way or mistakes they made that were pretty blatant and fixable. So I think Oregon is the best team in the Big Ten and the team most likely to make a deep playoff run. I'm really not buying Indiana long term. I think next week's going to be a rough game. And Penn State, Franklin just in the big games isn't too good at all. So
it's horrible.
I think Oregon's the team to make a run for the Big Ten.
And look, Alex, I know the year isn't over yet, but I just want to get like your thoughts as to right now where we sit. Because Sharon Moore, I mean, a lot of people gave him flack last week just because of how lost he looked out there. If we're just being real about it, he did not look good last week. Do you have confidence in Sharon Moore going forward? Do you think it's more of a personnel issue, and if he gets a quarterback in here, he'll look better? But just as you sit right now with only a few weeks left in the season, where do you stand with Sharon Moore and his personnel hires, to be honest?
I still like Sharon Moore. I think he had some questionable moments on Saturday. Maybe not letting your kicker go for such a long field goal like Dominic Zavada possibly could have done when the ball's at the 42, I believe. That one timeout at the end, he let too much time, but I still have confidence long-term in him. He's shown a willingness and ability to kind of bring Michigan into the modern era, especially with his willingness for NIL. Hopefully he really attacks the portal this year and plugs some holes we have as we let some younger guys develop more. And then also, he didn't make some great hires, especially Kirk Campbell, offensive coordinator, isn't looking great right now. But he's a first-year head coach, and with that comes someone who doesn't have a very deep Rolodex of potential guys he can get it to be on his staff. So I really hope he goes out, gets a new offensive coordinator, brings in a new transfer portal quarterback, and next year we see some great improvement, and he's a guy who can be at Michigan for 20-plus years.
Wolverine Wednesday brought to you by the Skinny Butcher. Alex, I have watched more Michigan football this year than I have in 30 years.
That's because you're enjoying it.
Unfortunately,
Right.
and it's because of you, my friend, because I want to be able to talk to you. But, of course, Maz hops on and steals my first question, and then KG hops on and steals my second question.
Got to be quicker than that.
I want to backtrack to Indiana. You were out there in Bloomington. You guys won a national championship last year. You understood how, and you got to experience the what it is to be a student at a school that's making a run. I was at Michigan State when we did that in 2000. What did that game mean to the fans in Bloomington, and can you compare it at all to what Michigan fan got to experience last year?
Yeah, to the fans in Bloomington, I was staying with some friends who go there. It is the biggest moment in their football career because Indiana is one of the worst programs ever. They have more losses than any college program ever. And really the only two times in recent history they've been good have been when they had Michael Penix and then when they had Antoine Randall back in the 90s. So for them, it was kind of almost like the 2021 season, even more so than 2023 season from Michigan, where they finally got over the hump. Michigan's a team they've only beaten 3 times since 1970 or something like that, and Saturday was the 3rd time. So for them, it was kind of a cathartic moment to finally get over the hump and see that even if Michigan is as good as they usually are, that Indiana's actually able to run and go out and beat the big boys. So for them, that was a massive game for the school and the morale of the team.
All right, Alex, just a quick follow-up on that. We know Indiana, I think it was one of the last 3 teams in Division I that didn't have 10 wins in a season, which they were able to get. Is Curt Cignetti good enough to take this team to that next level that you just talked about with Michigan a couple years ago? And Is he a guy that you think would stick around? Because I imagine he's going to get some offers. Do you think that he's there for the long term, and is this a team we need to worry about in the Big Ten going forward?
I think he is there long term. He's 63 years old, so I'm not sure if he really wants to bounce around. Indiana, they don't have a great history, so he can instantly, if he cares about a legacy, he can stay there. If he chains together 7-8 winning seasons in a row, he'll get a statue and be the best coach in history. Yeah. And then everything I heard in Bloomington is how much he loved the town. But I think he can be very good, and I'm not sure if this level will even be sustainable, to be honest. But I think he can keep Indiana very good. I think he's also someone who's kind of hurt by the fact that he's coaching in modern college football. If this is a different era where he didn't have to worry about NIL and the transfer portal, he probably could get Indiana to a lot higher level and maybe get them to actually become a perennial contender in the Big Ten. But I just feel like there's too many factors going against him right now at Indiana to ever make them a perennial powerhouse.
Let's pump the brakes on Cignetti. Like he's coaching an Indiana team that's pretty good, but in a horrible Big Ten.
You'd love to have him here at Michigan coaching next year, and you know it.
It wouldn't matter. We don't have the talent. It doesn't matter. You don't have the talent. Like it's a weak Big Ten. So let's pump the brakes on Indiana. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and finish up with my man, intern Alex. But let's get a message from New Holland.
All right, New Holland Taller, the Dutch long drink from New Holland Brewing Company, made right here in the great state of Michigan. And it is made with it's a gin-based cocktail made with 100% grapefruit and small batch gin for a delicious flavor, all natural ingredients. So we got you covered there. And these things are absolutely addictive, man. Go get you one today. Taller is your local long drink.
It's fandom and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're gearing up for a very big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast, use the code word Woodward, and you'll get 25% off your first subscription order. Awake and unwind, support local, and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. We'll be right back.
The New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame watch party. Every Lions home game live from Second Best Bar, Detroit. Enjoy the pregame hype with a live broadcast every week with Woodward sports personalities like Neil Rule, Sean Baldinger, and the Heavyweights. Brought to you in part by Sabbath Coffee and Les Stanford Automotive. Great drinks like Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Long Drink, great environment, and even better food. It's the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame watch party live from Second Best Bar, Detroit. Brought to you in part by Sabbath Coffee Roasters and Les Stanford Automotive. Come get some.
You're an ugly guy. That's okay, because you have a hot girl on your arm. Now Woodward Sports and Les Stanford want to reward you for outkicking your coverage.
I am ugly as by traditional standards.
That's right. If your significant other's hotter than you can win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Detroit. So find the best pic of her with the average-looking you and post it on X or Instagram.
You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. Why, boy? You ugly.
Make sure you tag at Woodward Sports and follow us Twitter. We'll announce the winner November 25th. Then you and your much better-looking lady will get tickets to watch Dan Campbell and the Kneecappers.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
Inside of Ford Field on Thanksgiving. So find the best pic of her and the worst pic of you. And show us all how you outkicked your coverage.
Your mama said you ugly. Hey!
From Woodward Sports and Les Stanford.
Into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
If you Lions fans want to know where the best Lions pregame party is going to be this coming Sunday, you can join us at Detroit's very own Second Best Bar, Sheila Fordham, located at 42 Watson Street for the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show, the best Lions pregame show in all of Detroit and better than the flagship, only at the Second Best Bar. Come get some.
And I apologize to our viewers that had to watch Pete make that noise.
Right, please don't make that noise
on
again.
behalf of Woodward Sports Network, we apologize that you had to be privy to that. Welcome to the last segment of the show. I'm just joking, Pete. It's a Wolverine Wednesday, so we got our intern Alex in. I want to finish this way, though. I want to finish with a Lions question. Give you a chance to talk about the Detroit Lions. Lions are 8-1, leaders in the NFC right now. They are the catalyst. A lot of people believe are going to win the Super Bowl. What have you seen just watching this Detroit Lions team and this run that they're on?
I mean, the first thing is this offense is just unbelievable. Even on a week like last week when Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions and they're still able to come out and pull out the game. Especially their run game, because everyone likes to point to the passing game, which is very good. Obviously, it's statistically better. But the Lions are just so good at run blocking. They have one of the best lines in the offense in the NFL. And also, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, they're just thunder and lightning. They're what we're all hoping Khalil Mullings and Donovan Edwards were going to be this year. And they both get the job done and move the chains effectively. And so they're just an absolute joy to watch football-wise.
Let me ask you, you bring up Jahmyr and Dave Montgomery. Have they bought the running back position back? You look at this year, it was the first time in the last 5 years, man, as I was going to say this, that receivers actually are less than the rushing yards of the top 25.
How about it?
Top 25 rushing yards is back. Like they're
the
back.
Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders era is back.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's good. It looks good this year.
I'd like to see it,
Do you think Dave Montgomery and the way in which Ben Johnson uses Jahmyr Gibbs is a help to that?
I completely think the NFL is going to realize they were cutting running backs short for years. Even more so than David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. One of the worst stats in the NFL currently is the fact that Derrick Henry's making, I believe, $11 million less than Gabe Davis is right now on the Jaguars. This position is just way too undervalued. People could point all they want to the offensive line being more importantly get a run game going. But at the end of the day, the person carrying the ball is the one who will score the touchdown, will get you the yards, and is super important. And I think the NFL is kind of learning their lesson. They're seeing how well Saquon's doing in Philly. They're seeing how good Derrick Henry's doing in Baltimore. They're seeing how good both Jahmyr and Montgomery are doing in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to start to see people value the running backs more. And the big test will be how high does Ashton Jeanty go in the draft this year come April. That'll be a real telltale sign of if he goes high and if people are criticizing the pick.
Hey, last one for you, Alex. This one's for Anson. Michigan State, Illinois this week. Break it down for us.
Okay, yeah. So these are two teams in the Big Ten. Michigan obviously played both. Both were able to find some success in the run game, but ultimately, the thing I really like more about Illinois is Luke Altmaier's just better at protecting the ball. Michigan State's been having some turnover problems and tackle for loss problems all year, and I think Illinois is pretty good in the front seven. They won't turn the ball over as much, so I think they'll eke out a win this weekend.
Alex, going to get that People magazine to put up on your wall in your dorm?
Oh, Blake Corum.
You know you are tied in deep with the media and the money when a backup running back in the NFL that nobody's called their name all year long is considered the sexiest man in America.
How about that? Did you know that, Alex?
The Michigan media machine.
I didn't hear about this yet, no.
I'm afraid so.
You're the only one that knows, Anson.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, your magazine game is, you're right where you need to be. You don't even need to watch
it's
or
going
see
up
that magazine.
It's going up in his dorm room.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Centerfold.
Alex, thanks a million, man. Have a good week off. And what are you going to do this Saturday?
Oh, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be watching college football on my couch all day long.
All right. Attaboy.
Maniac.
All right, brother. We'll
Great
talk to you
talking to you
next
guys.
week. Getting ready for Northwestern. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, see you, Alex.
See you then.
Maz, I got to hit you with two things.
Yeah.
All right. One, before he gets benched, I am putting this name out there right now, and it's going to stick.
Go ahead.
Catfish Caleb.
Oh, please.
Okay? Because this young man
You had to get this in.
catfished all of the national media and all of the draft pundits into calling him a generational player. And so, therefore, from now on, he will be known as Catfish Caleb. And then hot take number 2.
How long you been working on that?
Since last night, actually.
All night.
I have been saying this since the beginning of the season, since the preseason. Jerry Jones is infatuated with a man named Shedeur Sanders. And this team has just shut down their franchise quarterback. They are tanking. They've already been really bad. And mark my words, next season, the Sanders boys will be coaching and throwing the ball in Dallas. What do you think about that, Bray?
I think the Sanders men definitely have a shot to be in Dallas. Jerry Jones loves his former Cowboys, and it is what it is. You know, this is one of those situations. Bringing it back to Michigan is eerie similar to like when Michigan was in talks with Harbaugh. Remember how long that process took? Like it was a myth, and then it wasn't, and then Harbaugh arrived, and Ann Arbor. It's very similar because I think people think it's more. It more is not going to happen. I think people think it's more not going to happen than it is, and I think it's more going to happen.
I think
than
it's
not.
100%.
I think
the Giants.
You've been saying it. I'm starting to see the path.
Giants are going to try and get Shedeur, but Jerry Jones will pull every
He's
single.
He's also an agent of chaos.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones is an agent of chaos, and this is a chaos move, so it fits it well.
Hey, Pistons at Bucks tonight. Red Wings at the Penguins tonight. Buckle up.
Let's go.
I'm going with another win for the Pistons. I do not like where the Milwaukee Bucks are. Dame and Giannis do not like each other. They play on opposite nights, it seems. I'm going with another win for the Pistons, man.
Yeah, and Beef Stew really loves to D up Giannis, and he's good at it.
Well, get on
we'll end on a pause on that.
Well, get on Caesar Sportsbook, right? And let's bet the Pistons tonight.
Make the bet. And also, you should have put it on last night, but here's your chance to do it again. Like Anson and Ryan said, bet the Pistons to win their group. Just saying, it's free advice. We appreciate you for tuning in to Woodward Sports Network. This is Ermanni Networks Mass. Special shout out to my man Anson Wells, filling instead as well. KG,
my
Peace
dog.
by that. Time has away on the couch. We appreciate you guys, and thank you for watching us. You have a good one. Shout out to Dan Miller for joining us.
Thanks,
as well.
Dan.